Hello everyone, you are welcome to this meetup, and my name is Uncle Big Bay. And so today we are going to be building an e-commerce website using Medusa and Klarna Payment Gateway. And in a couple of minutes, I'm going to be telling you what Medusa is all about, what Klarna Payment is all about, and how you can integrate these two together to build your e-commerce website. So firstly, let me introduce myself. My name is Uncle Big Bay, and I'm a freelance software engineer. Also a technical writer at Aviyel community, at Copycat, and at ImageKit. And also, I write about Web3 at Ashnode and Polyporter. And I also work as a front-end instructor at SideLab. Um, so let's get to the business of the day. So what are we going to be building today? Today, I'm going to be walking you through how you can build your e-commerce using Medusa and Plana, and how you can just, increase your productivity and the amount of time that it will take you to build your e-commerce. So I would like to start with what is Medusa. So Medusa is an open source headless e-commerce engine that makes it easy to develop a robust e-commerce website quickly by doing the heavy lifting of both the backend and frontend, so you can focus on other logic. So what is headless e-commerce? So one of the problems that we have with the existing e-commerce engines that we have is that most of them are they don't allow you to have any other presentation layer. Like, it is only the front end that is being given to you by this e-commerce engine that are only allowed to be used throughout the life cycle of the e-commerce. So if you take Shopify as an example, you cannot actually build your own front end for the e-commerce. The only thing you can do is just keep on using the Shopify front end as we give it to you by default. But with Medusa, you can have your back end and you can also have your front end. You can have as many front end as that you want, and you can have for mobile. You can also have the web-based e-commerce, and which I'm going to be showing you today. And Medusa also allows you to work fast because it's already done all the setup for a standard e-commerce for you by doing the back end for you and also the front end. Okay, so I'm going to be explaining the difference between Shopify and Medusa and why Medusa is standing out. So as you can see here on this table, we can see that the online, you can see that the features that Shopify has and the one that Medusa has, you can see, like, basically looking at the list, you can see that Medusa is actually winning. So what is Klarna? Klarna is a payment gateway that allows users to pay for their purchases in installments. So what installments means is, like, you can pay little by little. Your payment can be divided into like 4 or 3 depending on the availability of the instrument that is attached to the Klarna's account. So Plana is like a payment gateway, like the usual payment gateway, with extra features that you can integrate to your own e-commerce website. So this is what Klarna payment methods looks like. So they have, I'm showing you three methods now. So we have the pay in 4 installments. So this means is like you can pay in four pieces, like I said, and you can pay in 30 days. So this allows you to purchase and pay later. So it is just like you pay later. So, and we have financing, which you can pay over 6 to 36 months. So you can actually purchase, any product and pay in the next 1 year or 2 years. So that's one of the interesting thing about Plana. So as a developer, how do we integrate Plana? Like, how do we integrate Plana into our e-commerce? So as you can see here, this diagram is showing us how the Klarna integration workflow works. So the first thing is you have to create a session, which I'm still going to be walking us through. So we are going to create a session on the server side, And after then, we are going to send the product that the user has already selected to purchase on your website. You send it to Klarna Payment API, and after then, Plana is going to send back some response that you can use to display the widget on the client side, which is your front end. And after then, the user can then authorize the payment also in the front end. After authorizing, you cannot place the order. So you will send, after authorization, you will send the same order that the user has created a session for. You send it back to the server side, and then it's going to be captured in your Plana admin portal. So I'm still going to show you all this, but this is just the workflow of Plana integration to any platform and using Medusa as an example. So in this tutorial, we are going to be making use of these stacks, these technologies. So the first thing we are going to be looking at is we are going to be using Next.js. So Medusa's front store has two templates to work with. So we have the Next.js and we also have the Gatsby. But we are going to be making use of the Next.js front end, and we are going to be using Node.js and Express for the backend, and then make use of Plana CDN, and we will make use of Plana RESTful APIs to interact with the Plana admin. So now that we have an idea of what Medusa and Plana payment gateway is all about, we are going to start the building. So I will just walk you through how this works, how to get started, and how this can help you as a developer as well. So the first thing we need to do is let me confirm. Can you see my screen? Okay. All right. So the first thing we need to do if you want to work with Medusa is, if you remember what I said, that Medusa is in two places. We have the front end and we have the back end. So they already have like a template that we can work with. So this is the back end. You go to this GitHub repository. We have Medusa. We just search for Medusa on GitHub. We have Medusa. So this is where the back end is. So the first thing you need to do is you need to install the Medusa CLI. And before you must also have you must have Node installed on your system, and you must have your terminal as well so that you can run this code. So when you install the Medusa CLI, then you create a new project. So after creating a new project, in order to start your engine, you have to run Medusa develop. So this is going to run the server for you. And also, if you need like if you want to test out Medusa, you can run this command to provide some seeds that you can actually work with. So this, when you do the installation from this seed, is going to provide you with some products, some domain product that you can work with to test out what Medusa is all about. So on getting here, when you start the server, you can now start making use of the API that you want to use as well. So they also have an admin dashboard that you can use to manage your store. You want to add, you want to delete, or you want to do anything. So Medusa provides you with a lot of things that will make work easier for you when you are managing your e-commerce website. So you can see a lot all the roadmap here. And so the first thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to start my own Medusa search engine. I've already done all this installation. So and I'm just going to start my own server now. So this is my own backend. So what I'm going to do is I'll do Medusa develop, and then wait for it to start the server. Okay. So my Medusa server is on now. So in order to know that the server is actually running, so what we can do is we can visit this endpoint here. We can visit this endpoint in our on our browser. So what I'm going to do is I'll create a new tab, and then I'm going to visit this and let's see the response that we're going to get from the backend. So as you can see now, we can see all the dummy data that we can work with. So these are just like t-shirts, some dummy data that we can work with currency, so that if you just want to test out Medusa, you can begin using this. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is just to set up our stock front with Next.js. So like I said, Medusa has two front end. They have the Galaxy starter and they have the Next.js starter. But for this walkthrough, we are going to be making use of the Next.js starter. So for the Next.js starter, what we can do is we can just click here to see the installation. So over here, this is Medusa Next.js starter repository, and in order to get started with it, you have to clone this repository, and so you start up the environment variables after cloning. So when you start up the environment variable, then you set your public key, and then you start the server. You can install the dependencies and then run yarn dev. So to start the server, so this is what you have to do. And after I've started the server, which I'm going to do now, so I'm just going to go to my terminal and then move over to the front store, then do yarn dev. So my server is already running on 8,000. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to I'm going to visit my browser. So this is what a Medusa template looks like when you clone the repository and you want to start working with it. You can see how easy it is. So what you just have to do is come here, you clone the repository, and then you start your server. And after your server, you can start working with Medusa. And as you know, you can change the templates to whatever you want. You can do whatever you want to do with it. So now that our Medusa is actually running, we have our front end running, and we have our back end also running, which we are getting all this data from. So this data now, for instance, if you click on the Medusa shorts, so the Medusa short is going to lead us to where we are going to see the information, the product description that we clicked. So all these are coming from the back end here. This is the response we are getting from it. And as you can see, we have the image as well, and we have the size. So Medusa has already done all the basics of building an e-commerce. So what you just have to do is you build on top of it. So they make it very, very easy to work with. Just on the repository, and then you start working. All this for free. This is for free, and it is open source. So now I can add to bag, and you can see this is working already, and you can see that we have this increase, and we can check out as well. But before we continue, I'm just going to show you how you can set up your Plana and how you can integrate it to Medusa. So now that we have our server running and we have our front end working, so let's jump on to Plana and see how we can get started with it. So this is Klarna payment gateway website. So what we want to do here is we want to create an account so that we can integrate it to our e-commerce, and people can make payments with it. And like I said, Plana provides some payment methods that are very easy for users. They can pay in installments, and then installments up to like 6 months. That's really awesome. They can pay 4 times. They can divide their payment. But we should also know that this Klarna payment gateway is only available in some countries and eligible for some users as well. So that should be noted as well. So what we want to do now is we want to create a test environment. So what a test environment means is like a place where we can actually test out Klarna before we now start integrating it to the production. So if you want to test out Klarna, you can begin with the test environment. So what we want to do from here is to create an account, and all the guidelines are here already. The test environment, how to work with test environment is very, very straightforward as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to log in on my merchant portal. So this is what the merchant portal looks like, and as you can see, we have the playground environment. So after signing up and verifying your account through your email address, so you can log in into your Plana merchant account. Okay, so that's loading. Okay, so now this is the Plana pre-brand merchant portal. So this is where you get your API key. This is where you can keep track of your order. You can attend to settlements, and you can also work with your branding as well. So the first thing you want to do is if you want to get your API key, you can if you come to the home, yeah. Okay. All right. So if you come to the home, you can see all the things that is available for you to do with Klarna. So you can add your authentications. They will just tell you and your orders. You can see the orders. So let me show you the orders. How your orders is going to look like. Okay, so this is what the order page looks like, and these are the orders that has been previously initiated from Medusa, and this is how they are going to look like. So let's make sure that okay, this is the latest order that we got. So this is like 1 a.m. So by the time we capture another one from Medusa, so that we will know that this is actually increasing and showing. So what you want to do when you create your Klarna account is you want to generate your API credentials. So your API credential is what will allow you to connect to any front end or any e-commerce that you want to work with. So if you want to generate, you just click on generate new API key. So when you click on generate here, so they are going to tell you to download your username and password, your UID, and you can download it as text. So it is also important that you download it as text because immediately you close this mode, you will not be able to view this password again. So you can see the password will only be revealed this time and will disappear after you close this window. So it is important that you download it so that you can use it later. So, but I've already have my own API key on my server here. So what I want to do is you just come to your environment variable and you store it. You store it here. So you see how it is here. So you just store it in your environment variable at the backend, your Medusa server, and with your Plana password as well. So that's one step after getting your API key. So now that we have our API key, we can now start like implementing the workflow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be walking you through how we can implement this workflow in our Medusa e-commerce website. So the first thing is to create a session. So like at what point is a session going to be created and how is session created? So a session is like you are creating a payment session on Plana. You want to get an ID from Plana so that you can start a new session. So when this is on, Plana will now respond with a modal. So this modal is going to be displayed on our Medusa front end. So what we want to do first is we want to locate. Let's go back to Medusa. So over here now, we've added to cart. We've added one product to our cart. And the next thing we want to do now is we want to check out. So when we have our main business is this payment step. So you can see all this workflow in your Medusa source code. We have this here, and over here, this is where we are now. So over here, we are just going to set our address. So, and for this address, if you are working with Klarna, they are going to give you some test environment so that you are going to pass it. So you can see all the address here. So when when you go to the Klarna documentation, they will give you some sample data so that because they work with real information. So they will confirm your zip address. They will confirm your address if it tallies with your provided zip address. So that is very, very important as well. So if you want to work with any country, the information and data that you are going to use have been provided as well. So I already have mine saved here. So just enter this number and then I'll click on next. So on this page now, you can see on the checkout, we also have a delivery method. So you can also modify this or customize this to how you want your own e-commerce to work. So you can click on the post page, you can change it as well, but this is just the default checkout step. So when you next, you can see that we have the pay planner here. So let me show you the source code where this is coming from. So this is the page that we are more concerned about to integrate the payment, because we've already collected the contact information of the user, we collected their address, we collected their shipping method. So the next thing for the user is for the user to pay. And for them to pay, whenever the user wants to check out now, in the final stage, like the normal thing is for the users to pay. Okay, so and for the user to pay, what we need to go and check is this payment step. So this is what a payment step looks like. This is this. So in the checkout, we just check the payment step. And by default, what you are going to see here is this manual payment. So let me show you the manual payment. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So this is where all your payment button is. You know, when you want to integrate a payment, the user has to click a button so that they can pay with maybe Stripe or pay with PayPal or any payment gateway. So this is where the manual payment is going to be. So over here now, we now created our own components. We are going to create our own component, which is known as Plana checkout component, and we are changing it here. So as you can see on this line, on line 31, we have the Stripe method. So we are doing a check here to check the provider. So if the provider is Stripe, this is going to run. So Medusa has with some Stripe configuration by default that you can work with. So, but we are not going to be making use of Stripe. We want to make use of Plana, and we are checking it under the case of Mana. So this is Plana payment, and from here now, what we now want to do is go and create the Plana component. So this is what the Plana component looks like, and I'm going to be explaining one after the other how we can set our other lines and stuff. So now from here now, one of the things we are more concerned about is how do we get the product that the user has selected, the product that the user has picked from our e-commerce. How do we get them from Medusa? So Medusa has made it easy for us, and it has provided us with some APIs that we can use within our store to interact with the state management. So as you can see here, Medusa is using context API, and we can pull the cart from the context API store. So we are pulling the cart from here. So this is what the cart looks like. This is what the cart looks like. So the first thing we want to do with the cart is we want to create a session, because in the workflow that we have here, we want to create this session. We want to create this session, and it's going to be created in the server side. So to create a session, what is needed is really the address, the shipping information of the user, and the quantity. And we also need the unit price of the shipping as well. So these are just normal information needed by Plana to create a session for a user. So after pulling out the cart from here, so we can do console.log to see what is actually going to return to us. Okay, so let's see what we have in our console. We have this object. So this object is going to contain all the information that the user has provided to us. And Now, the next thing we want to do is just pull out the information that is needed, the most important information that is needed. And we already have a payment session from Medusa as well. So in our code now, what is important is that we get how Plana wants us to send the data, because the way Medusa is storing the data, like the object is different from how Plana wants it. So over here now, after getting the cards, we now want to do a map to create a new array of the other lines. So Plana wants unit price, so and we are going to get it for them from here. So this is the calculation. So we just want to add the unit price plus the shipping total, then divide by the numbers of the items that we selected. So that's how we can get the unit price, and we are storing it here as well. We have the total amount, it's just the unit price multiplied by the quantity. All these are in the documentation of Plana as well. If you are wondering how this mathematics is coming up, so it's in the Plana documentation. And we have the tax rate as well. So Plana requires us to put the tax rate, which we are adding the total discount amount, we are setting them, the total tax amount, we are setting it as well. So this is what we call the order line. So the order line is just the object for all the products that we want to create a session for. So now we need the order info. So the order info is the information of the user. We need the purchase country, we need the order amount, we need the billing address as well. So this is what we are doing here, and this is how Plana wants it. So we have to set our USD and also make this dynamic from the front end as well, and the purchase currency is USD as well. So like I said, Plana payment is available in some countries, so you should check if the currency is also allowed on Plana before you start integrating it. So that's very important there. So after setting all the other info, we now have to send a merchant URL. So this URL is going to be the confirmation URL. Like after the payment has been successful, where do you want Klarna to redirect your user? So this is just where to show them that the payment has been successful, and this is we are going to create the component as well, success component. So after doing that, we can now make a request to create a payment session. So which means that our first step in working with Plana to create a session is ready. So what we want to do is we want to send the order info down to our server side. So, and like I said, Medusa has already created a template for us to use for our server side to make things easier for us. So what we just have to do is to create a new endpoint that is going to receive this order info and then communicate to Plana as well. So this is what the backend looks like. So this is the server side that we added our Plana username and password to. And if you come to this API, this is where you can write your custom API. So if you come to the index, you can see that we have our endpoint here. So this is the default configuration of creating a route on Medusa. We also applying code so that we can communicate to the front end as well. So the next thing we want to do now is to grab the endpoint of Plana. So this is also available. This can be gotten from the documentation as well. So after getting the endpoint, what we want to do is we want to retrieve the order info that is set from here in the front end. So this is the order info, and I'm getting it from the back end as well. So after getting it, we are now going to make a post request to Plana and then send the order info as the data. And Plana requires us to confirm, to verify ourselves, to authorize the API call by setting our username and password in the authentication header. So we are just going to send this auth along with whatever we are going to send to the backend. And we have our header here, which is just content type application/JSON. So which means that we are going to get a JSON as a response. So this is basically making a request to Plana to create a new session, and any session that we are creating, if it is successful, Plana is going to respond with the data, and we want to send this data to our backend. and this is what we are getting here. So this is what we are getting here. So the first thing is to create a session, which we have done. So we can create a session here, and this is it. And the next thing is we want to now initialize the payment. So after creating a session, we will now initialize a payment with the client token that has been sent from Plana. So Plana is going to return with a client token, and the client token now is going to be used to create the payment so that the user can authorize it. So now what we want to do is we already have a div in our DOM. So this is the div. As you can see here, we have a div here. So this is what Plana is going to look for. So it's just like doing document or get element by ID, and Plana is now going to use it for the iframe. So the pop-up that is going to show up, or the model that is going to be showing up, this is where Plana is going to get it done from, right? So now what we want to do is, in this init method, we are going to pass the client token that has been generated from this creation of session, which we got from here. We are going to pass it here and then send a payload. And this load is going to contain the container. Okay, so here we are going to tell Plana that if you want to initialize a payment, you are going to make use of this particular DOM, which we have created in our UI. So you can see we have this DOM. So we are telling Plana that load the iframe in this DOM. And what is the payment method category? So this payment method category is, these are the methods that are available for the merchants. So if it is like, if you want to, if the merchants can actually accept payment for, like, let's say like instrumentally 4 times, this is going to be available for them. So, but what we want to use here is pay over time, which means that they can pay instrumentally. So we have set this category, and after doing this, after it has loaded, Plana is now going to come up with a response. It's going to return a response that you can show the model or not. So if Plana has fully loaded, it's going to come up with a response that you can show the load. So this is either true or false. And this is what we are going to use to show our model. So we are going to use it to show our authorized payment button. So this is the authorized payment button. We are going to see all this in the UI as well. So we can also get this SDG online. If you search for Plana SDG logo, you can get it online as well. So this is basically what initializing a payment looks like. So this is what it looks like. And then after initializing, when the user has clicked on the authorized button, so the next thing we want to do is to authorize it. So you can see here, we create the session. This is the workflow. We create the session, and then a widget is going to be displayed, and then the user is going to authorize it. So after the authorization, the final step is to place the order. So, and to place the order, we are going to write an authorize function. So this authorize function is going to authorize the payment. It's going to check the selected payment if it is available, and if it is available, it's going to proceed with the payment. But if it is not available, it's not going to proceed with it. So the final step is just to communicate to the place to place the order to the backend of Plana. So what we will do is we have another function here. So this function is what we call place order function. So this route is going to accept the same order lines. So it must not be it must not be different from what we used to create the session, because if the order lines and information we used to create the session is different from what we want to use to make the order, Plana is going to reject it and there will be an error. So we don't want this error. So, and this is to prevent like your e-commerce being hacked. Maybe they already created a session for $10 order lines, and during the placing of order, they now change it to $5 or they increase it. So Plana just want to ensure that there is security there. So we send the order info as well with the authorization token that we are going to get from the authorized method. So we are going to make a call to this order and then send the order info as well. So for the backend now, we are going to retrieve the authorization token and also retrieve the order info that we've gotten here. So after getting it, so I'm now going to make an HTTP call to the plate brand, which is our Plana merchant URL, and also we are going to pass the authorization link to it as well. So the next thing we want to do here is we want to now make the post request. So the post request is going to also contain our username and password. So every call to Klarna must contain the username and password for authorization. So that's very compulsory. And then Klarna is going to return with a response that maybe your order has been successful or not. So after that has been successful, Klarna is going to return here with the information here, and then we can finally, so this is the last step. So finally, we can check the cart. If the cart, you've already made the payment. If the payment is successful, we want to clear the cart. So we are just going to check if it is completed, and then we are going to clear the cart, and then we direct to the success page. So this redirect is going to come from Plana because you've already sent the URL that you want the user to be redirected to when the payment is successful. So Plana is going to return with a secure URL that you can use to redirect. And finally, you can then use your window.location to redirect the user to that particular page. So up to this point, I've explained the code aspect of how Plana integration works. So I'm just going to go to Medusa frontend and show you how it works, like how all this implementation actually works in the frontend as well. So this is just how our success page is going to look like. It's just a small page, and we don't need to set any routes since we are using Next.js, unlike React. So that's basically that's for creating Plana in the code. So now we already have this button. So this button is coming from the create session. So we are going to create the session by clicking the button. So when the button is being created, which is coming from here, So when we click this button, we can see this authorization. So we have this create payment session. If it is successful, then we want to show the authorized button. So this authorized button is what we are seeing here. So if the payment session is successful, we see the authorization button. And this is the authorization button, and we are setting a condition that if to show the authorization button, if the payment session is created, we should only see the authorized payment button, which we are seeing here. So the next thing we want to do is to authorize the payment, and Plana is going to bring out a pop-up. So this is a pop-up from Plana. So Plana is handling the payment now, since we've already connected to Plana. So you can see the workflow is really smooth as well. So let's just wait for this fully load. So now the first thing we need to do is we need to confirm our phone number. And since we are on a test playground, this is like a development environment. We really do not have to enter our phone number. Plana will just give us you can enter any verification code as well. So we just click on continue, and then you can enter any confirmation code. But in a production environment, the code is going to be sent to the user, and then they can receive the code and enter the code here as well. So Plana is going to do the confirmation, then show another confirmation. Okay, so now it's now going to ask you. Plana is going to ask how do you want to pay? How do you want to pay for your product, for your selected products? You can pay now or you pay in four. So this is what we call instrumental. So you can pay in 4 places. And if you click on pay in 4 places and you click on continue, so Plana is going to divide how you want it to be paid. So today you paid half of it. So you are going to pay $8.75, and then they are going to spread it in the coming weeks as well. So click on continue. So all of these are being handled by Plana. So the only thing Plana actually needs is to send is the cart and the other lines of the product that is selected. So after this, what we need is we just need to pay. You can also change your card if you want to. and then click on pay. So Klarna is going to process the payment. So we just have to wait. So now, as you can see now, we are able to pay with Plana on our Medusa e-commerce. So basically, what we just need is just to initialize. What we need to do is just to create a session, then send the session to create to place an order. So Plana is just going to handle the rest for the user to authorize securely, and then finally you can place the order. So we are able to place an order now. So the next thing we need to do is change our order management. So our order management is going to be on our portal here. Okay, let me close this. So what we want to do is just check the orders. So this is on our portal, our Klarna portal. This is the playground. This is the playground environment. Okay. So now you can see now that we have a new order which was placed around 5:45 p.m. here in my country. So about like 1 minute ago. So this is the order. So we are getting all the payment order from Medusa here. We're actually getting them on our Plana gateway as well. So and you can see where this is going to expire. It's going to expire like 1 a.m. July 12. But all these doesn't really matter because they are just playground. So but you can see now that we have the payment information and we can check what it contains. So you can see now this is what the user purchased, the user shot, and this is the cost and this is the unit. And then we can capture this if you want to capture, and you can see all the information about the user. So basically, what Medusa allows you to do is it allows you to build your e-commerce easily. You can see the only thing we just have to do is we just focus on like our integration. You don't have to do any other. You don't have to do any other setup. The only thing you need to do is get your username and password, then put it in your environment variable, create your route. We only need 2 routes. The first route is the session and the second one to place an order. And in the front end, you just need to get all the order info, put it in an object the way Klarna wants it, and then create a session, authorize the payment by the user, and that is all. So these are only the 2 code. These are the 2 files that we need to integrate the payment on our code. And this repository is available on GitHub as well if you need access to it. And there is an article for everything we've done today. So there's a written article on it. So if you need to follow it step by step, so that you can go over it again, you can actually, these are just basically a step-by-step guide on it. So because I know like it might be too much to capture like this, but you can go over this. Okay, so I'm just going to send a link here. I'm going to send a link here. So this is a link, you can go over it as well. So I think that would be the end of this session. I hope I'll be able to show you what Klarna is able to do and how you can work with it with Medusa. So thank you so much for having me. And you can, if you have any question, like maybe when you are building, you can check out Medusa on Twitter and Aviyel community, of course. And you can also follow me as well on Twitter as well. Okay, thank you so much. Is there any question? Okay, so the question that we have here is, does Medusa and Klarna work with Vue.js? Yes, yes, sure. Yes, Medusa is an headless e-commerce engine, which means that it doesn't, the backend and the front end are not coupled in the same place, which means like the backend and front end are in 2 different places, and you can work with them independently. So it's not like the back end and the front end are in the same place, which means that you cannot edit the front end and you cannot edit the back end. So when you have a Medusa server running, you can integrate it with any front end that you want, and you can also reach out to the community if you need any help setting it up. But I think the official one is Gapsi and SDS. So I think that will answer the question. Yeah, thank you so much, Sida.